The new movie Red Tails, about the historic Tuskegee Airmen, debuts this week in theaters, but already the movie is being celebrated in Tuskegee. Some of the actors are in town talking about the film, the real-life heroes, and its impact on our country. WSFA 12 News reporter Tametria Conner with that story.
Today was a culmination of a Red Tails promotional weekend, and as you can see, people are continuing to line up to see the Red Tails simulation. And in addition to this, hundreds of people are inside of this building watching the screening of the movie that will hit theaters on January 20th. It's been a jam-packed day, starting with a flyover at noon with Tuskegee alumnus and national radio host Tom Joyner. Now, he, along with Lionel Richie, were also present for the MLK observance ceremony. Also, some of the cast members of the Red Tails were there, including Terrence Howard and Nate Parker. And the building was packed, and the fans were all out to catch a glimpse of the stars. And coming up at 4:30, we will take you inside of the Kellogg Auditorium where the screening is taking place, and you'll also get a glimpse of all the stars. Tametria Conner, WSFA 12 News, Tuskegee.
Red Tails, by the way, stars Neo, Terrence Howard, and others. It soars into theaters this Friday. And as Tametria mentioned, she'll have another update at 4:30.
The movie about the Tuskegee Airmen, called Red Tails, opens in theaters this Friday. It's expected to be a blockbuster. Some of the actors were in Tuskegee today to preview the movie. WSFA 12 News reporter Tametria Conner spoke with them about their roles in the film.
I'm on the red carpet, which is right outside of the screening room. Now, this movie is about 2 hours, and I'm told that one of the original airmen is inside of this screening. His name is Wilbur Mason. Now, he was not an aviator, but a supplier. And I also spoke with Colonel R.J. Lewis. Now, he was trained by one of the original airmen. His name was Chief Anderson, and I understand that he was the chief flight instructor of the Tuskegee Airmen in the 1940s. Coming up at 5, we will hear more from Colonel Lewis, and if you're trying to come out for the last screening, it will start at 6:30. Tametria Conner, WSFA 12 News, Tuskegee.
Among the actors in the movie, Cuba Gooding Jr., Terrence Howard, and singers Method Man and Neo. Again, the movie opens this Friday. For more on the Tuskegee Airmen and the life and work of Dr. King, visit our website, WSFA.com.
It's the Hollywood version of the first all-African-American aerial combat unit, and it tells the story of the Tuskegee Airmen. This weekend, the movie Red Tails launches into theaters. But today, the city of Tuskegee honored the legacy of their hometown heroes with the screening of the movie and a star-studded event. WSFA 12 News reporter Tametria Conner is live in Tuskegee, and she joins us with the details. Tametria?
Well, that's right, Val. In addition to this Hollywood cast, you had famous Tuskegee alumni Lionel Richie and Tom Joyner, and they all said that they had to return to where it all started almost 70 years ago. Now, I had an opportunity to exclusively interview all 4 of the actors and the director, Anthony Hemingway, and this is his first debut to the silver screen, and the actors say that this is basically priceless. They were actually able to experience the original airmen as they were filming. A lot of them had an opportunity to talk with them, and so far today, this has just been an awesome experience for everyone who has partaken in this, from the people who turned out in the community. Right now, there is a screening going on, and while I was not able to go into that screening, I did speak to one of the second-generation airmen who said that he's been mentored by more than 400 airmen. Also, I got a chance to speak with Terrence Howard, and many of you may know him, and he said some awesome things about the valuable experience that he's had so far with the Tuskegee Airmen.
But we don't want to stop there. We're trying to make sure that what was started here in Tuskegee, Alabama 70 years ago will become a foundation stone for the monuments of achievement that black people will accomplish over the next 1,000 years.
It's important because it tells this absolutely incredible story to our young people. It carries on that legacy of excellence for the airmen.
And again, that panel discussion is going to be starting at 5:30, and the final screening for this evening will begin at 6:30. We'll have much more coming up at 6 o'clock. We're live in Tuskegee. Tametria Conner, WSFA 12 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Tametria. And again, the movie opens this Friday at theaters everywhere. The history of the Tuskegee Airmen is coming to the big screen, bringing national attention to Tuskegee. Right now, the city is hosting special events honoring the famed airmen. WSFA 12 News reporter Tametria Conner is live in Tuskegee. And Tametria, you spoke exclusively with some of the actors from the film.
That is correct, Valerie, and they tell me that it is only befitting for the celebration to happen on MLK holiday as we reflect on the barriers, the racial barriers that these airmen broke and became the king of the skies. These Hollywood actors returned to the place where it all started almost 70 years ago.
And to see these men celebrated in the fashion that they should have been celebrated 67 years ago. And to be around all these black people, black intelligent people.
They say they've had the priceless experience of working alongside some of the original Tuskegee Airmen during the filming of the Red Tails.
And the one thing they said, they never really focused. When you asked them, how they got through what they went through, never said, we felt the racism, it made us feel this way. They said, we let our excellence speak for us.
This is director Anthony Hemingway's first debut to the big screen.
I wanted something with importance, something with integrity, and I felt like my prayers were answered.
Remembering the Tuskegee Airmen, who they call the kings of the air.
Being here on the campus today, I can see excellence.
For this to be, the tribute that we sort of deem it as. It's heaven to portray it.
And right now, the actors are behind me in this auditorium. A panel discussion is going on right now. It is expected to end probably in about 30 minutes, and then the final screening of the Red Tails will take place. So a lot of people here on campus, hundreds have turned out to remember the Tuskegee Airmen and to get ready for this big debut of their story. We're live in Tuskegee. Tametria Conner, WSFA 12 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Tametria. The final screening of Red Tails starts at 6:30 tonight in Tuskegee. The film opens everywhere on Friday.
Well, the movie Red Tails, the dramatic story of the Tuskegee Airmen, that elite all-black flying unit in World War II, opens in theaters across the country Friday. But the folks in Tuskegee didn't wait. They've started a week-long celebration that included appearances by the stars of the film and screenings of the movie. WSFA 12 News reporter Tametria Conner was there for the story.
Four of the Red Tails actors, Terrence Howard, David Oyelowo, Nate Parker, Elijah Kelley, and the director, Anthony Hemingway, along with Tuskegee alumni Tom Joyner and Lionel Richie, say they had to come back to the place where it all started.
What was started here in Tuskegee, Alabama, 70 years ago, will become a foundation stone for the monuments of achievement that black people will accomplish over the next 1,000 years.
So for this to be, the tribute that, we sort of deem it as, it's heaven.
The actors reflected on how invaluable their experience was being able to work behind the scenes with the original airmen during the taping.
But to actually have the guys who did it right there with us was just completely invaluable.
When you asked them, how they got through what they went through, never said, we felt the racism, it made us feel this way. They said, we let our excellence speak for us.
But they say the real stars are the original airmen like 87-year-old Wilbur Mason. He received this new Red Tails Airman jacket as a token of appreciation for paving the way as the airmen persevered through prejudice to break down racial barriers and soar in the sky.
This time and period overcome the obstacles that they had to overcome and still achieve something. It should be an easy thing for them now.
Proving that African Americans were fit to fly in combat.
I wanted something with importance, something with integrity, and I felt like my prayers were answered.
The actors and the director say if you really want movies like this to be successful, the best thing to do is to turn out in great numbers to see it. Tametria Conner, WSFA 12 News, Tuskegee.
Now, our web team is in the process of uploading the full interview with all four actors and the director. You can check back with us online at WSFA.com tomorrow for that link.
The significance for me is being a part of a story that shows the lineage in which African American men come from. I'm from a very small town called LaGrange, Georgia. It's about 45 minutes southeast of here. So the heritage was very rich growing up. I always knew about the Tuskegee Airmen. So for this to be, the tribute that, we sort of deem it as, it's heaven to portray it. Oh, well, I mean, I've been on campus before. Like I said, LaGrange is not that far away. I remember coming to the Tuskegee Morehouse games and coming for homecoming and just having that, experience a part of my childhood. So it's sort of like coming full circle. It's more of a homecoming for me than a first-time experience. The biggest thing for me is being able to share it with my brothers, who I bonded with on this film, so they can feel how I feel, right now, and coming up and visiting here and, seeing the stock that, we come from firsthand. People like Lionel Richie and Tom Joyner and, all that stuff is amazing.
If I could take one thing from this entire experience, it would be the understanding and mantra that excellence is the driving force through adversity. One of the things that, we had the opportunity to sit and talk with and share the experience, this entire experience with the actual airmen. And the one thing they said, they never really focused. When you asked them, how they got through what they went through, never said, we felt the racism, it made us feel this way. They said, we let our excellence speak for us. Dr. Roscoe Brown was valedictorian of his class, scored 100% on the pilot's exam. And it's something that can be taken from this era and given to the young people of today, to let them know that the issues that you're going through, there is a way out of those issues. There is a right answer, and the right answer is to pursue excellence with reckless abandon. So that was the one thing I think that I would try to take from that generation, pass along to this one.
It's my first film, my debut to the film world. It's something that I actually prayed for, knowing that I was nearing the time for me to take it to the big screen. I wanted something with importance, something with integrity, and I felt like my prayers were answered. It's so hard to describe. It's very special to be here at Tuskegee. It's almost, I've come full circle. I started my research here when I first came onto this project. So I had an opportunity to come and just soak up the wisdom, the spirit of this place, and to be able to connect on a level with the Tuskegee Airmen. And to be celebrating that on Martin Luther King Day is magnificent. It's just to be able to be living in this time of the many legacies and to be able to see that and to see the Tuskegee Airmen, the efforts that they did to get us to where we are, to be able to still talk to them and just see them light up, to see us progress and move forward. It's special. For me, they're the true critics for this film. And when I can look at them in their eyes and they just light up like the rock stars that they were in that time, it's like they become young again, and excited, and they're very happy, and just to be celebrating them is the purpose of this film. Well, I think the story pretty much is true. We took some creative licenses, as you would in any film to entertain. But pretty much every aspect of the film was inspired by true events.
Well, the hardest thing to do, and anytime you're trying to get some momentum or some inertia, is to get moving initially. Once you get moving, there's nothing that's really going to stop you. And if you slow down to look around and wonder about the things that you've passed by along the way, you'll never really reach your goal. Like Jesus said, anyone that puts his hands on the plow and look behind him is not fit of the kingdom. It's not fit of the prize. So for me, I've never really taken into account of the hardships and where I've come through. I'm still looking for where we are going to get to. And for us to get down to be here today at Tuskegee, Alabama, the Tuskegee University, where it all began. And to see these men celebrated in the fashion that they should have been celebrated 67 years ago. And to be around all these black people, black intelligent people. Tuskegee University should be one of the wealthiest universities in the world if, the men that made most of those patents, that discovered and accomplished so many things on the scientific scale, the development of plastics, the development of peanuts, all of these things that he felt should be a gift to the world since they were given to him, but that's our nature. Our nature as a people is to give. And now it's time for us to be very smart about our giving. Now we have people like George Lucas that come together and aid us in our ability to get on that world platform. But we don't want to stop there. We're trying to make sure that what was started here at Tuskegee, Alabama, 70 years ago, will become a foundation stone for the monuments of achievement that black people will accomplish over the next 1,000 years. Black is incredible. Black is intelligent. And we're Americans, first and foremost. And we have something worth contributing to the development and the success of this country and the success of this world.
Well, one of the privileges we had was getting to actually have some of the Tuskegee Airmen with us while we shot the film, and that in and of itself, when you're doing a film, any film, any role you're playing, especially if it's based on actual, historical characters, you have to do a lot of research. But to actually have the guys who did it right there with us was just completely invaluable. And for me, one of the incredible things, especially being here today at Tuskegee University, I'm from Nigeria originally, and I lived in Nigeria for 7 years, and that's where my parents are from. And often I hear African Americans talk about the fact that we have to remember that we're from a lineage of kings. And one of the things that really struck me here today, we were in the church today celebrating Martin Luther King Day. And one of the things that really struck me is that the oppression, all the horror of slavery, beautifully was unable to knock that out of us, the kingship that we have, because these men were kings of the sky. They were excellent at what they did. And being here on the campus today, I can see excellence, I can see kingship. And for me to have lived on the African continent, in England, and I now live in America, and it's a very profound thing for me to see that time, injustice, and our own selves, in fact, because we can sometimes stay in a place of blameitis, in a sense, blaming everyone but ourselves. But all of those things have not knocked the kingship out of us. I come from a very proud people in the shape of the Nigerian people, and I saw that today magnificently exhibited in that church, and it was just very, very encouraging for me.